Okay, let me just...
Mel's not going to be able to start again.
Well, it'll be fine. We're not actually scheduled to go live for another 20 minutes almost.
It's true.
Which factory slash wow spaghetti? Oh no, fuck you, sweet.
Do you ever feel like when you choke on a piece of animal flesh that the animal spirit's floating above you like, yeah, bitch?
A little bit. A little bit.
A little bit. Or like, if you're eating a hamburger and you, like, somebody makes you laugh, and a tiny chunk of it goes up your nose.
Mom just told me that story, ironically. Mom just told me that story.
You gotta know that animal's like, take it.
Well, good news. I needed to mute the Twitch stream, so that's good. Okay.
Oh, that's always good.
Ascalon live.
Holy Hannah, sausage speaking.
Yes.
Lol, she's having sausage.
Update.
Hot sausage even.
So I won't have a quiet room for about 15 to 20. That's why I asked.
Considering we don't start until 7, that's okay.
Yeah, I just wanted to make sure you knew that starting early probably wouldn't work out.
I've still got like 2/3 of a chicken breast to devour, so we're good there.
You devoured that stuff.
I've already devoured my breast. I'm looking in the leg now.
Fair enough. I'll be right back.
Beating her thigh.
It seems as though you're moving in a strange order around that body.
Yes, well, we gotta mix it up sometimes.
True. I'm having a mix of good bar.
I love group dinner time. This is lovely.
It's like one big happy family.
I'm eating salad.
I love Mr. Good Bar.
Who the fuck's Mr. Good Bar?
It's a candy bar.
Oh,
Made by Hershey's.
must be a northern thing.
Oh.
It's never good.
So that you just took the journey because he loves them.
Sorry.
It's just milk chocolate and peanuts.
Probably never good.
And her friend gets a little dirty.
Well, it can't stop right now. I've got sausage in my mouth.
It's okay. I have Skype going through my earphones so that there won't be a horrible echo coming from me. So Kate wouldn't hear you reply.
Is there a reason?
Take all my sausage.
I'm back.
No.
Also, no. There will be no sausage taken here.
So Mel's already taken it.
Not all of it.
Well, get to work.
Eat that sausage.
Seems like a personal preference thing to me.
I'm not gracefully exiting this conversation.
Good choice.
Bowing out.
Well, no. The balance is into bending over.
David.
What? Who said that? Was that good or no?
It was Mel.
I think I'm offended, but I'm not really sure.
I was in the middle of crunching and I just heard the exasperated voice and the accent kind of...
What accent?
The accent you have.
The
No
Midwest,
accent. I don't know what you're talking
the
about.
Midwest accent.
This is a non-accent.
Thank you.
This shit just got real.
Okay.
Enjoyable thing.
I do enjoy the voices in my head.
They tell me funny things.
They do.
Here you go, everybody. Mel's already seen it.
Got upset about my script load, but nope.
Thanks for that.
Open up a corner of it.
You're welcome.
So, thanks.
In that case, I'll unmute my microphone. Ah! I'm not gonna play it on the screen. Why is my sausage crunchy?
Giggle.
Overcooked.
That's good.
That was good, really. Alright, I'm gonna go eat some more potatoes. Alright.
Why are you laughing? I'm gonna stick my head in there, but I definitely do it with my hand.
Nothing to see here.
Never mind, never gonna say it.
What?
I had to cough, and then I was gonna tell everyone that I had sausage stuck in my throat, because that was not even good.
I like that one, Dave. Oh, there's another one.
I'm quite sorry you posted this on the system. My friend's Facebook status says, I want to do P90X, but ice cream is cheaper.
Oh, I like that one too, Dave. I've always thought about doing that with that accelerator.
Yes. I've done this so many times. Maybe not this particular order.
I disagree completely.
Cheesy double beef burritos.
I legitimately disagree completely now.
Johnson, what's wrong with you? Oh. You did?
What?
Thanks for letting me read comments.
Oh.
I'm so confused.
I just learned through those comments that they've discontinued the cheesy double beef burrito.
I'm glad this is vitally important.
But then you can still get it by taking off the sour cream and soda.
Yeah, no. You damn Fritos out of my burrito.
You need to tell me.
Apparently Justin left himself plugged into Facebook again.
I thought, didn't we learn that lesson, like... Good God.
What happened?
The last time he did that at Jeremy's place, I think I actually wrote a status message for him. I happened to be there at the time as well.
And I changed a bunch of his profile information.
Are we gonna have sound this week, kid?
Yeah. I already checked.
Did you double check?
Well, I'm logged into Twitch right now, and I unmuted the stream, and it said I unmuted the show.
So Justin's Facebook is status has been updated.
I'm trying to set up my screen in such a way that I can see the chat room and the show notes and keep Skype maximized as much as possible, or full screened as much as possible, rather. Are you laughing at me, Dave?
No, probably not.
He's laughing at past time fun?
No, I stopped laughing at that a while ago. I'm laughing at this now.
Wow.
Things I don't get before.
I have no words. None whatsoever.
Which one are you looking at?
It's harder than it looks.
Oh,
I don't know if anyone's watching this yet, but there's a link in the chat room.
Oh my god, Dave, what is this? Cannot unsee.
Cannot unsee, indeed.
You're just holding a sausage, so it's okay.
Like I was holding my sausage.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
When did you get that attached?
Oh, sausage was in my possession, therefore it is my sausage.
No, it was down your throat.
Oh.
You're the one choking on it.
It's gonna give you a bad reputation on the interwebs, Dave. Knock it off.
Hey, if it gets us... No, I'm not gonna speak to that level.
You would horn me out? Is that what I just said?
Yep.
Dave doesn't think twice. He's like, yep, go get him started.
Of course I would.
So Dave.
That was the one that said she likes my big one.
Okay.
That's the fun to deny. Don't fight me.
No, that is
so out of context.
That is not what I was sighing about, actually. I don't know.
You're gonna have an issue here, buddy.
Don't mind me, I'm just playing with Skype.
What?
It's playing with it. Jake's playing with it.
No, Dave is playing with it.
Can't help it. Now he's so cute. He with Dave. I can't think of anything else.
Perfect. Why are we fapping in the background? Seriously.
Awesome.
And the show has reached a new low.
Yes, it is.
On that note, I'm going to go get a new cup of coffee and make sure the girls are in the living room.
Oh, perfect.
Yeah, that's probably a good idea.
Good news, guys. I've outsmarted Skype.
Is that good?
Well, more to the point, I've outsmarted the export so that it doesn't show my screen, but still does audio. I should probably confirm this, but still does audio.
Yeah.
I should probably confirm
So that I'm not looking at YouTube like hours later. Dad, how come I can't hear anything? So that I'm not looking at YouTube like hours later. Dad, how come I can't hear anything? So that I'm not looking at YouTube like hours later. Oh gosh, Dad, how come I can't hear anything? So that I'm not looking at YouTube like hours later. Oh gosh, Dad, how come I can't hear anything? So that I'm not looking at please, the amount of YouTube videos I watch, please, sir. Are we having kitty buddies throughout this podcast, by the way? I will be having a kitty buddy throughout this podcast.
What?
I said I will be having a kitty buddy throughout this podcast. I will be having a kitty buddy throughout this podcast.
What?
I will be having a kitty buddy throughout this podcast. I will be having a kitty buddy throughout this podcast.
What?
I will be having a kitty buddy throughout this podcast. I will be having a kitty buddy throughout this podcast.
What?
I will be having a kitty buddy
I'm in
throughout this
like,
podcast. I will be having a kitty buddy throughout this podcast.
it shouldn't.
There's that fucking echo again.
Okay. Not a very convincing echo, am I?
No.
Sort of lied to me.
I'm sorry, I'm irritated at the moment.
First cup of Seattle stuff.
Hang on. Kristen, can you log on to my twitch.tv page and see if the echoes still or
I'm
just
cooling.
go to twitch.tv/wildsolioususy. I'm having Kristen check for this echo.
You know, I don't get things on the internet and I have to go into the comments to take my chances that maybe someone will be nice and explain it. So mostly it's just people trolling.
How does it sound? Talk amongst yourselves. I love the job.
So, I picked up some puppets, cherry puppets, so that I could see if Kate would drink it.
Oh.
And she did. She liked it. Mixed with Sprite. She's just as amusing a drunk now as she ever was. The swirls on my ceiling, she was thinking about how they look like flowers, and just going nuts about that for a while. Just to use an example.
Oh. So was it corals?
Swirls. Yeah.
Corals? Like cool foot?
Cool foot?
Someone explain this to me, please. I don't get it.
Okay. After a party. Let's take a look at this. This all depends on Firefox actually opening the picture.
It's a naked Asian woman looking up what looks like mass amounts of cocaine.
Or flowers. Or... God, I don't know.
The hell is clean dress? It's more important to clean up.
I don't know where he's covered in this.
It looks like, I would guess that somebody took a bag of flowers and like threw it and it exploded.
And why is she naked?
What's he naked?
Good news.
Because it was a party and she got uber drunk and lost the clothes at some point.
Good news.
Good news.
You found this lady's clothes?
No. There's no echo when Kristen pulls it up on the laptop, so I assume it just has something to do with the fact that I'm streaming it and watching it and doing 5,000 other things in the same box. It makes it echo when I try to listen to it. So I'm okay with that.
Well done.
One of the comments says, this is the last time I invited Charlie Sheen.
So what's that?
But why do it naked? If Mom comes home, she may be more upset of you being naked than covered in powder.
Please don't be pissed about the whole package. Why are you covered in powder, naked, presumably in the kitchen?
Naked in the kitchen, as it looks like it. But actually, there's a ladder behind her, so
Oh, Lord.
I'm not really sure.
Okay, kids. basically 7 o'clock. You ready to...
Okay, let's stop demotivating ourselves then.
Are you ready to kick this shindig off?
But it's just funny.
I understand. I do.
I'm taking the high road and closing out. Okay.
Okay. Everything works.
You need to do some tongue exercises, like, ow now, brown cow.
Oh, now, brown cow.
Excellent test, obviously. Yes, I'm taking all of these from Instagram.
They want to do some tongue exercises.
Okay. Eat out on your own time, Dave. We're gonna try to do a podcast. Okay. Silence, peanut gallery.
Yeah, I'm muting my mic.
My Skype exploding. Don't care.
You just answered you know you did.
Ascendants of Ascalon is an explicit rated podcast. We're at words like shit, fuck, and son of a bitch across our lips. And this time you'll be able to hear us. It's Friday, March 9th, 2012 at 7 p.m. and this is episode 1 of Ascendants of Ascalon. Hello and welcome back to Ascendants of Ascalon. Boss! That was 5 seconds of wordplay because I'm not smart enough to make playlists for my intro music. So, this is the Ascendants of Ascalon podcast, episode 1. We are coming to you live from somewhere in the vastness that is the United States. So, my name is Jared, I'm your host of the show. We'll go ahead and introduce our individuals. First off, I hold people to my godlike standards. It's Dave. How you doing, Dave?
I'm doing pretty good. How about you, everybody?
Next, I don't believe in PvP, but I've taken World v. World under consideration. It's Jeremy. How you doing, Jeremy?
Well, that's bad. I took a nap, I got some coffee, I got a candy bar, we're good to go.
Excellent. Next, in spite of lack of proof last week, I really am a girl. It's Mel. How you doing, Mel?
I need to be doing it. I'm still laughing at the introduction. That was fantastic.
And last but not least, further proof. I'm bad at audio. I'm Jared. How you guys doing?
Oh, doing pretty good.
So, we'll go ahead and kick it off into our first section. What have you guys been doing this week? And we'll start it off with Mel, since he was late during the pilot.
That's not even fair, because first of all, the pilot had no audio, so there was no proof that I was late.
It's true.
He said, what's been up to?
Not a whole lot. Took my dog for a walk today. Stop it. See, I really shouldn't be going first because you're just laughing a lot. Anyway, took my dog for a walk. I am. And, had to do like a little emergency surgery in the middle of the road on a sticker on my foot. That's pretty much the highlight of my week. That really wasn't that traumatic, but that just shows you how exciting my week has been.
Fair enough. So we'll go ahead and kick it over to Dave next.
PvP weekend ended, so I've been trolling Mad Bros for fishes, whichever. I don't know if they dangle or if they're tucked in. But
I think a lot of them are tucked in after you're done trolling with them.
usually.
That seems
That
like
and puckered up.
That seems like a likely set of scenarios.
I don't understand most of this. Huh.
You understand most of this.
I don't have a penis. I don't get it.
be alright.
Yeah, it's probably for the best. You bring added flavor, which is not for the sweetness.
I bet she does.
Seriously?
I completely missed that.
Long last podcast.
Dave knows what I'm talking about.
Yes, I do.
Well,
Come on,
instead of exploring this further, Jeremy, what in the hell have you been doing while you've been hiding from us?
Well, I haven't had much time to get online this week because next week's our annual housing inspection, so we had to get the house shit fixed, you know. Make sure all the fire alarms are up, make sure none of the outlets have, well, make sure they all have covers, make sure the house is at least 3/4 clean, because it's housing, I mean, come on.
So the basic goal there is to convince housing that you have a suitable roof over your head so they can keep helping you with your rent?
Exactly. And, you know, besides all that, my niece Aaliyah got here on Wednesday, so been being entertained with 2 young ladies, and plus I've been at work.
Little bit.
Plus, for everyone else around the country, it's roof, not rough.
I'm sorry, that was totally inappropriate. I thought.
But it was funny. And
So good. What have you been doing this week?
well, let me tell you, I have been doing a little bit of spring cleaning myself, insofar as I'm caught up on the laundry and I did all my dishes as I dirtied them for a change.
Oh boy.
So I don't have a sink full on Friday. That's always fun. I've been playing a lot of NBA 2K12, much to Dave's chagrin, because then I talk about it in raid call.
And podcast.
And podcasts. And I talk about jacking 252 threes in 20-some odd games.
It's a lot of drafting.
That is a lot of jacking,
Yes, it is.
let me tell you.
And he's jacking free, so, I mean, that's some skill.
You know,
I mean, what I mean.
I've used my feet. What can I say? Other than that, I have hopped in game a couple of times to do to pug icing missions and do a little bit of jade quarry so that I can maybe theoretically get 200 GPs before the end of Guild Wars 1. Oh yeah, that's pretty much been it, so we'll go ahead and move on into the news.
Before we do that, I'd like to point out that we need some really, really exciting news based on this last week's
Right.
update.
I know.
You're home.
Alright, next week I'll tell you all about Wichita.
Ooh.
Yeah, there's a teaser for you. What?
Kansas, yeah.
Stop teasing me, Jared.
Oh, you know you
Oh,
like it.
Lord.
Stop teasing and start pleasing.
That's right. You listen to Dave, he knows what he's talking about.
Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
Is that the Kool-Aid Man?
Oh,
That was an abortive sort of Kool-Aid man, so I can't get my voice deep enough. Oh, other thing I've been doing, well, mostly the last, 2 days, is I've been whistling the Mario theme music everywhere I walk and work. Yeah. There's that. I've been getting some funny looks.
Don't let him lie, he's been singing Little Mermaid.
Under the sea.
Oh, that is so cute.
Under the sea. Speaking of Under the Sea, a little, an added note here that's not in the show notes that will be when we post this. Total Biscuit released a video today, covering underwater combat.
Oh my goodness, and I missed it.
You think they told us this the hour before we were all poking around before we actually started eating?
Yeah, look out for that, and we'll be back next week with a full report on how awesome underwater combat looks.
Or how unawesome.
Or how awesome it looks.
I'm
Unawesome.
engineer. It's going to be freaking awesome for me.
So, with that, we'll go ahead and go into our first news topic, which is a series of posts from Guild Wars 2 Guru by Eric Slanham on what to expect from explorable mode dungeons, which is the upper difficulty level, and kind of what players can look at as far as difficulty, and whether or not ex-WoW players will be able to shove the Trinity down its throat And the general consensus from Eric was, lol, Trinity. What did you guys take out of this article?
So, the thing that I like most, really, is how it's making it so that they're saying bring the player, not the class, and like it. And I always hated that in WoW when it came to, I don't care how skilled you are, we need a rogue, or we need this, we need that.
Need a warrior tank.
I was a badass warrior tank.
I know.
But, this is saying, it doesn't matter what the group's made up of. Bring people that have the skill to do it, because there isn't necessarily a tank. There isn't necessarily a healer. Just bring people you want to play with. Bring what you want to play. And I like that. And that's my phone.
Someone go silent, please.
Yep, doing that now.
For me, the thing that I took out of this article, second line of it, you cannot, for example, make a dedicated healer no matter how much you pump into your support key line. For someone who plays a healer in WoW, what I play, that's what I like to do. Mostly the first thing that I thought of is challenge accepted. Because I'm going to do my damnedest to make a supportive, as much of a dedicated healer as I can. The cool thing is I get to blow shit up, and that's exciting, so.
Same here, Mel. I'm doing the exact same thing.
I know you are, which is why I rage faced at you when I saw your build. That's different.
You've known this since we started even considering Guild Wars 2.
No, I knew class profession you were going to play. However,
I definitely thought you were going to roll a two-handed smash faces in Guardian, but...
Or I might go that route too at some point.
There's still hope.
Yeah.
Ignore that, Jeremy. You don't know what that's about.
This is the joys of, we've only had a couple of closed betas. We're still middle-ish of the development cycle, so we can still speculate. I might do this. I said explicitly, like I said the other night, I was like, I'm not gonna be Great Sword Mesmer, blah, 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 blah. I'm gonna be a dual-wielding Sword Mesmer. Well, I could change my mind between now and then, and be like, Great Sword, lightning from the sword.
maybe an elemental spell so I can run around with their created weapons, because they just look cool.
Guardians have that too, I think.
Yes.
Spirit
Yeah, but there's this auto attack. I can literally pick up the elementalist bow and I can shoot ice.
Nice.
That's cool. And that's sweet.
I can bust people around with my spirit hammer.
Yeah, well, Dave, I can't do anything with that. Doesn't do anything for me.
Well, I don't really have anything to say about it. I mean, they're trying to end the Trinity. That's the basic there. They're giving anecdotal evidence. They're not really showing any kind of broad range examples. Everything's very limited to what they did. And I want to see multiple examples in multiple dungeons where the non-Trinity system has worked.
True. And I know one thing, too, that it says in the article is that it says he believes that no matter how skilled the group, the Trinity won't even work in story mode, let alone explorable mode. However, I mean, the way I think about it is if you're that good that you think, oh, I'm gonna try this just for shits and grins value to see if we're good enough to do it, even though this isn't necessarily the way it was designed for us to do it. Good on you, more power to you.
Yeah, and it's already said they want you to be able to do it any way that your conglomerative mind can come up with. And if that happens to be an amalgamation of what used to be the Trinity, and you can do it, good for you.
And good job.
Precisely.
Granted, that would also have to fall under limitations that the supportive/healer could not do any damage. If it were falling into the basic Trinity, the overall outlook, the healer could do no damage. The tank could not do anything very significant for damage, while all the
which would
damage
mean
dealers...
The damage dealers would just have to be pumping out tons of damage.
Yes. which, so far as I've noticed, the only one capable of pulling far greater numbers than anyone else is an elementalist spec for attunement changes during straight line.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it'll definitely be interesting to see kind of how that progresses, especially as we move closer and closer to a release date. And, if we can, hopefully we all can get in the beta, so at least we can experience it, even if we can't talk about it. We can at least experience saying, hey, the four of us went and we took out this badass motherfucker that was designed for like 10 people to fight. Because we're just that good at hitting our dodge key, and more than just the one key, unlike many of the press in the beta.
Yeah, it's too bad we won't really be able to say anything when we're in the beta because it's a non-disclosure.
Pesky NDA. Maybe if we beg and plead enough, they'll let us talk. Probably not.
If we're all in the beta, I don't see what the problem
Well,
is.
if we're all in the beta, we can talk to each other. We just can't do it on the podcast.
Exactly. And we haven't done, we aren't, quote, press yet.
Next time, Guild Wars.
By the time Guild Wars 3 comes out, we might be pressed.
My recent form, pessimist.
Realist.
Anyway.
We might just be internet rock stars. We might just skip press altogether. So, the other news item I brought this week was Jam.com did an interview with another designer, John Peters, to talk about the way competitive PvP is going to work, kind of how they feel about combat in PvP, and then ANET's goals of turning Guild Wars 2 structured PvP into an esport. Dave, what did you take out of this little interview?
Well, first and foremost, I want a high-res picture of that Mesmer shooting that Ascalon in the face at the top of this article. That is what made me read this article. Not the fact that he made one of the dubs of this week's podcast. No, that picture made me do it.
Also, I just want to note this. Did you notice one of the little purpley cups looks like a heart?
Oh dear.
Oh, it does, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Good lord.
But, no, I think of all the games out there for esports, I think this one's going to be extremely big. For one, it's not a first-person shooter, which are fairly dominant among the online leaderboards and everything.
And it's not an RTS either, because, let's face it, StarCraft has dominated that area for
A while now.
seemingly forever.
Yes, and I've read a couple things. This could technically be a real-time strategy game. Say you go into 5v5 in a esports setting.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to, as much as I hate to give it a comparison, you're going to set it up like a football team or a soccer team where you have the offensive, the defensive, and you've got all your lines. And with 5 people, that really boils it down to where one person's going to be a scout out in the battlefield relaying information over a social program where he calls events, what have you.
Mumble, Teamspeak, Pepsi.
Yeah. I really like it. I hope it makes it big because I'd like to play in some of the 5v5.
Oh, absolutely. That's actually something I always wanted to do in WoW, but never could find enough buddies interested in it. I always thought, well, that and I didn't want to devote the time to actually becoming a good arena player, but arenas kind of, I guess they got my competitive juices flowing until I would, get in a cruise game with somebody and we would get stomped, like, in 20 games in a row, and like, fuck this shit, I'm going back to Rage.
Yeah. No kidding.
Well, not to mention, Internet gives you access to everyone's on an equal playing field when it comes to gear.
Exactly.
The deciding factor on who wins in this game is skill. It's not how long have you drudged through the system and accumulated points and gotten better gear than a person whose team's ranked half what yours is. It's none of that bullshit.
Exactly, and that's something that I think ANET's doing right here is, it's just what you said, that there isn't going to be that initial grind, I guess, to get the best of the best PvP gear, and then you've got a leg up on everyone else. No, another thing is, you're going to be able to take your own tune, theoretically, into an esports event, because you're not going to have the super massively overpowered gear. You're going to have the same gear as everyone else.
Exactly.
Mel, Jeremy, thoughts?
Exactly. I'm not still muted, am I?
No.
Okay, good.
I just love PvP. And I'm excited for World versus World again.
See, now, I've never been a fan of PvP because, I don't like getting face stomped. And that's one thing that, by the looks of it, isn't so much going to be happening in Guild Wars 2 because, as you said, it's an even playing field where the only variable is skill. And that's what makes me think I might actually enjoy PvP in Guild Wars 2.
I'm a fan of the PvP system because, sometimes when I was playing WoW, it's like, oh, sometimes I want to capture the flag. And sometimes I don't. Sometimes I just want to graveyard camp and kill bitches all day long. Okay, well, here you guys where you're killing bitches.
Oh, fuck.
Either way, it kind of works. And so it is, you get the chance to. I'm not saying that World versus World is not objective-oriented, because it is, in a sense, but, I could go over here and attack people, too, at the same time, and, like graveyard camp, but this is kind of different, where I can go into instant PvP, and I can capture points, and I can do this and that, and so I like what they've done with it.
Alright.
Before we go further, it's mainly going to be in World versus World, where you see the mass PvP, but something I noticed Mel thinking about. The Necromancer build that we're going to talk about in a little bit that I had set up, it's massively condition based. Everything about it is like nom 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 conditions. And Mel's train of thought was, how can I possibly get rid of all those conditions? Well, it hit me sometime afterwards. You're not going to have to. There's going to be so many people out and in World versus World. The conditions are going to come up and they're going to be gone 2 or 3 seconds later. Majority of the damage, I'd say 95% of it, is going to come from a player, not their conditions.
And they're going to want to kill me every 50 seconds if I'm using my staff.
Yeah.
So with that, we'll go ahead and move into the discussion topic, which started out, and that's how it's listed now in the show notes, as a kind of traits and attributes sort of discussion. And I think it's kind of, throughout the course of the week, it kind of morphed into, let's talk about the class that we currently intend to start with, and what we like about it, how we think we're going to play it right now, and that kind of situation. BTW, no Dave's Raves this week because, as you said in the beginning, we've been PvPing all week.
Yeah, this is fun stupid people in PvP. No, didn't you say you've been trolling all this week?
Yeah, I have.
So,
As long as he's the victor, though, I don't think it really requires any raving.
Nah.
Unless he loses the troll match, in which case then there's some raving involved. But...
oh, it's just supposed to be story time. So.
Oh, like campfire and s'mores?
Well,
I never
No,
would have brought
more
that.
than mine.
Story time about stupid people.
Well, anyway, it'll be back next week. I'm sure Dave will go back to his normal, because he's almost done with the PvP statue, so he'll go back to his normal ritual of farming, and then going and hanging out in Commodon and selling things.
Plus, there's the event coming up here in a little over a week. It's going to be dropping event items, so yeah, I'm going to hit the tiers pretty damn hard.
So, I'll actually go ahead and kick this off. As I kind of alluded to earlier, I'm going to be playing Mesmer on launch, just like the other 999,996 people that signed up for the beta that aren't in this podcast. And my initial vision before we discovered the skill builder that a wonderful French fan site put together was I'm gonna just be awesome and have rock a one-handed sword in one hand, pistol in the other, so I can do this like hybrid melee ranged thing. But as I was playing more around with it, I was like, well, what if I do this instead and use two swords and then try to stack a stat like Guile, which is the Mesmer specific stat, to reduce the recharge on all shadow skills, which for a Mesmer basically blows up your illusions and phantasms and gives you some sort of benefit or does damage. And so that's kind of what I settled on, and as I said that night, finally, I'll be the duelist that my D&D character always wanted to be. And basically the build I'm looking at kind of centers around lots of illusions and phantasms, and a lot of similar to Dave's, it has a lot of condition focused stuff in it, but also some spike damage from those illusions and phantasms. What do you guys think? Am I completely an idiot, or?
Well, there's no telling really yet. It sounds like something that should be fun for you to try, quite honestly. And you know, if it doesn't work out, what you do? You can always figure out a different one. But it sounds like it's something that could be quite effective.
There's actually something else I read this week. I don't even remember where anymore, but folks were talking about how it's only going to take about 20 to 30 minutes to unlock all of the weapon skills on a given weapon. So, I mean, that's the brilliant thing about it is if I try this and I'm like, oh, this sucks. Oh, well, I guess I'll just go get me a scepter and a focus or something.
That's one thing I'm wondering if we'll have access to our Hall of Monument stuff in the beta.
No, we will not.
Okay.
All the monuments will not be there until the game goes live.
Oh, that makes sense.
Well, that's good to know.
Dude, I still think you're going to end up with a great sword, and I'm going to love every moment of it.
I feel like I'll be more likely to end up with a staff than a great sword.
It occurs to me that if I want to use be able to use a great sword right away, or a two-handed hammer, I'll have to get either 1 or 3 more points.
World drops, man. World drops.
No, I mean right away.
You mean as soon as you don't? As soon as Mel spends 2 hours in character creation,
Exactly.
and we all zone in together.
Exactly.
All right, who wants to go next?
You did not even talk about your attribute or your trait lines.
Oh no, I didn't. Hang on, let me get some of that. So, with the Mesmer, their 5 trait lines are domination, which affects their power and expertise, dueling, which affects precision and prowess, chaos for toughness and concentration, inspiration for vitality and compassion, and illusions affects malice and guile. The build I went with was 30.
I'm not music.
And Dave just can't wait to be king. There's like 30 points chaos, 10 points inspiration, 30 points illusions, or something to that effect. But basically, the way that, and we'll break these down on a later show as far as the specific statistics go. But the way I kind of visualize this skill going, or this build going, is the chaos and illusions accent what I'm trying to do with the build as far as focusing on beating the shit out of people with swords and having illusions every which way but Sunday, and then inspiration will just give me a little bit more self-healing.
Yeah. Don't make me go next word, I'm still messing with them.
Cool. Because I've been nominated to get that.
Indeed.
That's fine. I accept that. My profession, also, I grew up in my whole MMO, almost video gaming career, in World of Warcraft. So, class and profession will be interchangeable for me. That's just stuff that you guys have to learn me. Except that, so my profession is the engineer. And something I wanted to add earlier, that I just love about the engineer is that within my trait line I can need a stuff for various things, but one of those is to blow crap up with bombs, mines, whatever, and heal at the same time. This kind of goes back to our Holy Trinity conversation. But I just love that, and that you can do that in your trait lines. The engineer has 5 trait lines: explosives, firearms, inventions, alchemy, and tools. My build is a damage explosive. I don't care for... Well, let me start over. The engineer has 2 weapon slots that they can use. Most professions have more weapons that they can actually use. But because the engineer has a whole bunch of other crap in there, we are stuck with rifles and pistols. I don't really care for those. So my build mainly focuses on mines, grenades, bombs, and elixirs, since I can spec into having elixirs explode when they're thrown. And the elixirs are one of the healing or support abilities that the engineer has. Explosive gives you 10 points in power and 1 point in expertise. And it's just one of the 2 main damage lines that you can take. The second is the firearms line. As you might suspect, it does your pistol, rifle, and also your flamethrower skills are in here. 1 point in firearms gives you 10 precision and 10 points in prowess. A lot of the points, or a lot of the traits in here, major traits, this is your crit, your critical damage. This is your chance to crit, this is your damage when you do crit. And therefore, almost every ability in here is improved damage somewhere. Not my cup of tea, but whatever. The third line is inventions. This is your defensive. At first I kind of thought it was your healing stuff, but not so much. The minor stats that it gives you are all healing related, but the major traits that you can take within the invention line are all about your turrets, exploding turrets. Increased armor, increased attack range with your turrets and shields, and using toughness and all sorts of stuff, but buffing, it's more for survivability, I suppose.
And keeping that damn healing turret alive.
Yeah. Which, I found that you can explode that thing today. That's cool. Which is not your fuel. I kind of thought your fuel was when you explode it. No, it just blows up.
No, I don't think it acts like a healing stream totem from WoW, doesn't it?
When it's down, it does. But then on the tool belt, which is F1 for the engineer, it has the ability to overcharge your turret. I don't know what that does. But then there's a totally separate skill. Once you lay your turret, your 6 slot on your bar becomes a self-heal. So I don't really know what overcharging it does, but hopefully it explodes it.
No, overcharging,
Man, dude, this is a fun sucker.
from what I saw in the video, overcharging gives you a bigger heal and a small AoE heal to everyone in the group, but it causes the turret to go away.
So it's like a healing explosion?
I love the word explosion in that, thank you. That's fantastic.
When you're the epicenter and everybody around you gets a little bit of it.
You guys are going to hate running with me between all the, just all the noise that I'm going to create. It's going to be awesome. I'm going to love it. The 4th trait line is alchemy. This is mainly support class. I love the alchemy trait line. It has a lot of abilities that when you hit certain percentages of health, like 75% health, like 20% health, certain things happen. And all I can think about while I do this is like the SOS, Shell, and Protect abilities in Final Fantasy, where when you get to a certain amount, then it automatically does it. And almost all of them are drinking elixirs, which give you various effects. And boom, yeah, it's really quite cool. But it also does things like when you throw your elixirs, it removes conditions, all stuff like that. It's definitely the support thing. And the last one is tools. I'm not terribly thrilled about tools, but that is where 1 point in that gives you 1 ingenuity and 1% malice, which of course is the engineer specific, and that reduces cooldown on tool belt skills. With every utility slot, so your bars 6, 7, 8, and 9 have an ability on the tool belt as well, and that's what it reduces your cooldown on. So if you like those, throw a lot of points in here. Right now, I'm not really seeing a lot of awesomeness in the tool line, but that could just be my build also. So. That is infinite overview. I could talk about what I want to do, but it's really not that exciting.
Well, I talked about what I wanted to do, so...
Well, see, a lot of things I'm thinking, well, I want to, the ability to cleaning Formula 409, so witty over there tonight. But it removes conditions, and I just don't think that, see, I think you're just not a team player here. I
What?
think Jeremy removes conditions, and you just want to eat all of your scabs, and you can't do that because we're trying to take those conditions away from you.
Fuck her off. Talk about my damn necromancer when we get to it. You talk about your damn engineer.
Hey, you already mentioned it. My engineer is going to be awesome. I'm going to throw things at people. I'm going to become an expert dodger, and I'm going to take an ability that creates a bomb when I dodge, so I think I'm going to have to run at people and dodge through them, because I'm really not sure how the bomb would actually explode on the cast, but I'm going to work on that. I'll let you know when I get my beta key.
If you have somebody with a big sword that's trying to hit you and you dodge them and they hit the bomb instead.
Yeah, no, melee I got, but trying to dodge out of spells.
Oh.
Okay, so before we go on to Jeremy, one thing that occurred to me about 2 minutes into Mel's talk about the engineers, we didn't really talk about how exactly you're going to get free.
I was going to do that.
I was too.
So, the way traits work, you can have up to 30 points in a single line, and every 5 points you get something. At 5, 15, and 25 points, you get minor traits, which are set based on the line that you're filling in. At 10, 20, and 30 points, you get major traits, which you get to choose from a pool of traits. The catch, of course, being, because you get a trait point at each level, starting at level 11, you theoretically could fill out an entire line by level 40. Well, ANET thought of that already, and by adding in the
Training manual.
At level 11, you'll get your Adept training manual, which will allow you to put up to 10 points in a given trait line. At level 40, you get a Master's training manual, which will allow you to get up to 20 in each line. And then at level 60, Grandmaster's training manual that will let you fill out the entire line. And these are something you purchase at that particular level.
Which of course means you get 11 levels to mess around without worrying about traits and stuff, and just learning your class a little bit.
And the other fun thing about this is each time you get one of these training manuals, you get a free reset of all your traits, which I think is really smart, because you will have to pay a small reset fee once you get past level 60, if you want to change your trait build.
However, your PvP trait build and your PvE trait build will be swappable. You will not have to trade points. You'll have 2 specs, one PvE, one PvP. You can switch between at will.
And as far as PvP specs, you can change those at will, because you'll have that separately saved trait build, and you can respec free of charge for your PvP spec.
Alright, now that we've gone over that, even though we were going to, I believe that makes it my turn.
It does make it your turn.
Oh, hey, before, can we discuss real quick the major and minor trait to build? Did I miss that in the conversation? Hey, cat, it's gonna get too spiky in the middle of it. I'm sorry. Never mind. Keep on me.
Stop me from Okay.
Call us the Guardian, Jeremy.
Hold on, I'm turning my external volume down because that's loud.
Oh, see, that was good.
Oh, and for some reason it was going through both my headphones and my desk speakers. Anyway. So I'm playing the Guardian. Because it's the only one I saw and I was like, oh my god, I got to. In all the previews on Guild Wars 2 website. The main thing that I want to mess around with is the Mace and a Shield to start off with. The Mace being the quote-unquote healing weapon. And with the mace, you get obviously your basic attack, and then Symbol of Faith, which damages foes and gives allies regeneration.
Can I interrupt you for just a second?
Why?
Because I want to tell you what I've been hearing.
Good?
Blah, 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 I'm a paladin.
Yeah.
No.
Thank you.
Okay, carry on.
Nope, I'm not going to.
You like to carry on?
It's 3 times I've been interrupted now. You make sure you get it all out of your system first.
I'm good.
It makes me pull this van over.
I really just wanted to blah, 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 I'm a paladin.
But you know what? I might just mute you guys for a minute and keep talking whether you try to interrupt or not.
Can you do that?
I don't know. I go into my volume settings and click mute on the Skype bar.
I don't think I actually set this up.
No, but I won't do it.
Regardless. Carry on, please.
Okay. Anyway, Protective Strike, it surrounds yourself and nearby allies with a shield. Allies. And then those are the mace skills. So really it's not so much healing as it is support. The shield skills are Shield of Judgment and Shield of Absorption. And basically Shield of Judgment damages foes and gives protection to up to 5 allies. And then the Shield of Absorption creates a dome that knocks back foes and absorbs projectiles. Yay, hurrah. There's far too much shit to worry about with the selectable skills for me to go into the combination. Okay, so the trait lines for my Mason shield, I intend to end up going with 30 points in Zeal, which each point of which gives you 1% of concentration and 10 points of power. Concentration increases boon duration by 1%. Oh, I didn't even think about the boon.
Pick up the giant asteroid and go watch things. I got you.
I'm actually not sure what it means by boons because I haven't gotten much information on the Guardian, but one thing I did forget was the virtues. The Guardian has 3 virtues that it can mess around with. The virtue of justice, the virtue of courage, and the virtue of resolve. Now these can be used on yourself or given to allies depending on how you want to use them. But virtue of justice is burn foes with your every 5th attack. When you activate it, nearby allies set foes on fire with their next attack. Virtue of courage is every 30 seconds you gain an Aegis that blocks the next attack, and you activate it to give all of your allies 1 block. And virtue of resolve is a regeneration, and you activate it to remove conditions and give nearby allies regeneration. Now each of these is on a cooldown, of course, depending on how powerful the skill is. Justice is 20 seconds, courage is 30, and resolve is 40. So when you activate them to give them to your allies, that's when they go on cooldown. Otherwise, they're just passive and they continually sit there and do their thing. So it's really a matter of how much do I need this for myself right now, and how much do my allies need that?
So, do Guardians get access to Signets and their utility skills?
Yep. Yeah, yes we do. There's Signet of Mercy, which is a passive one. It improves healing, and when you activate it, it revives a nearby ally. Signet of Wrath, which passive grants you an increased condition damage, and activating it immobilizes your target. Signet of Judgment, passive reduces incoming damage, and active grant retaliation to nearby allies. I'm assuming that's damage reflection.
Sure.
Bane Signet, passive grants you might, and active knockdown and damage your foe. So, and they also have a Signet in their healing skills which is Signet of Resolve. Passive, remove the condition every 10 seconds, and active, heal yourself.
You know who doesn't get access to signals, don't you?
Got that.
Yeah. Yeah, it's class 8 right there.
You jelly?
A little bit, except I'm so much cooler than all of you guys.
So,
Probably.
I'm going to assume that in Guild Wars 2, what a boon is like the anti-condition.
Yeah, a boon's a buff.
So, for Zeal, every point in it, you get a percentage of boon duration. Wonderful. And so, actually, the only reason I went 30 points in Zeal is because of one of the major traits. It's called Conciliatory Strength. 10% of power is given as a bonus to healing. So, that'll give me an extra 30 to heal. I completely skipped over Radiance and Valor for this build, but I have a second one that I'm going to go over, where I'll explain what those two do. Honor is the, quote, healing trait line. Vitality and Compassion each get 10 points for each point of honor, and Compassion increases healing by that 10 points per point. And then I did 10 points in Virtues for my last 10 points, which gave me 1% per point in Willpower for my Virtues recharge 10% faster with 10 points. And that was the main reason why I did that. So I also put together, I looked at what I would do with a two-handed sword / sword and shield for my switcher. Two-handed sword skills. Obviously, you don't have two sets of weapons. You don't have a sword and a shield. You're carrying one item. So you get 5 skills for that one weapon instead of 3 and 2. The virtues are the same, but the skills, you have your basic attack, and then Whirling Wrath, which the best thing I can akin it to is a Bro Storm with projectiles. It says, in fact, spin in place and swing your greatsword while hurling powerful projectiles.
Can you explain Bro Storm to me?
Blade, the warrior skill from WoW, Blade Storm.
Oh.
One of our friends called it Bro Storm.
Wind spinning, Symbol of Swiftness. Steer a mystic symbol into the target area, damaging foes and granting swiftness to allies. Faithful Strike. Leap at your foe. If you hit, regenerate nearby allies. And then Binding Blade. This one sounds pretty cool. Throw blades at your foes, causing damage over time. Bound foes can be pulled to you. The effect ends when a foe moves out of range.
This is one of the skills that the Yogscast did not use properly in their video, and Dave raged about for about 5 minutes.
I believe you. So, that being said, for this build, I did 30 in Zeal again, this time for the power itself, and then 30 in Radiance and 10 in Valor. So, in Radiance, each point gives you 10 points of precision, don't need to explain that, and 1% of expertise, which increases condition duration. So, I went with that, got my wonderful traits, and then went into Valor. Valor is the damage soak trait line, where each point gives you 1 point of prowess, which is increasing your critical damage, and 10 points in toughness, which I don't think we need to explain what toughness is.
Negative Frustrator.
So, at 30 you'd have 300 toughness and 30 prowess. But, maybe I want to try doing a healing / support. And if I don't like that, I want to move on to doing great damage to bitches.
Good plan.
Dude, if you're a better healer than I am, then I'm just gonna blow stuff up. And probably use my flamethrower a lot.
Flamethrower is fun.
It's pretty nice.
Alright, so now, the moment you've all been anxiously waiting for.
We have?
We have.
How will Dave eat scabs and rain back upon you in his deathly Lich
Definitely.
thing.
Fuck that, I ain't using Lich Form. I got the damn Plague Elite. Fuck that green fucker.
I have your Plague Elite, haha.
That's because you have a damn elixir. Bugger off, this is my segment. So, the Necromancer's got 5 attributes, like every other class. We've got Spite, Curses, Death Magic, Blood Magic, and Soul Reaping. Now, Spite focuses on power and expertise. Pretty straightforward, power is a direct damage increase, whereas expertise increases conditions. Necromancers seem to like conditions in this. All of the traits, for some reason, they've got Death Shroud stuff and Spite and all that, and they've got this random one where it's just, haha, you do more damage with axes. To me, that belongs somewhere else in this tree of traits, but it's in Spite. Curses. Lots of conditions and scepter skills, things of that nature. The secondary attributes you get with curses is precision and malice. Malice increases condition damage by 100. Now, something I noticed throughout all 5 of these is things like malice increase condition damage by 100. Is that 100 damage? Because at 100 damage at level 80, that's not a very big increase. So I want to know how it scales. There's no mechanical formula figured out as to how that actually works.
True.
At level 11, Malice doing 100 extra condition damage would be godlike. At level 80, it'd be like, why the fuck am I wasting my points? So hopefully, come this beta, we might see how some of that plays out. Death Magic focuses on minions and dodge rolling and sorting out minions and things like that. And has toughness, which increases your armor, which does not make any sense to me in a tree built for minions. You're not going to be the one getting hit. I don't see the point of toughness there.
Maybe toughness, your toughness, gets passed on to your minions.
Okay, I haven't seen anything like that.
I'm just throwing it out as a possibility.
Yeah. And concentration increases boon duration by up to 30% if you have 30 points in Death Magic. Let's see. Blood Magic has Vitality, which is a direct health increase, and Compassion, another one of those secondary attributes that doesn't make much sense. For every point in it, you get increased healing, but it's not saying. At 30 points, it's 300 healing. It doesn't say if it scales, that is it 300 healing on top of the healing you do, so if you heal for 200, you actually heal for 500 due to this attribute, or is it multiplicative? I want to understand how that works. ANET really needs to get on figuring that out and letting us know.
I feel like it should be like a percentage for certain things, like the healing.
Well, see, in some of them is, like concentration, the boon
No,
duration.
no. Those ones. I think it should, like, I'm talking about compassion. I think that one should be, like, increases healing by 300%. And, for instance, but just to make the number smaller. So it's not huge, like, oh my god, this is increased by 300%.
Well, that might be the way it should be, but the way this shows, there's a point system and a percent system, and this one is clearly on a point system that we have no idea how it functions.
Yep.
And we really need to find that out. Blood Magic also focuses on the wells being, it's very well focused. The wells deal conditions, they steal life, you can ground target them and set them being, they die in and around the corpse. Another thing, minions in Guild Wars 2 do not require a corpse to summon. You can summon them freely with nothing dead around you.
Oh.
Which is interesting.
Well, that's a big change right there.
Yes, it is. And Soul Reaping, the final attribute. Prowess, which is a critical damage boost. Again, it's one of those points instead of percentage, so I'm not really sure how it works. And Hunger. Hunger is the Necromancer-specific secondary attribute. And at 30 points, it'll increase your life force pool by 30%. Life Force is that little green bar above your 1 through 5 skills that whenever you die, or whenever you feel like activating it, you can turn into basically a race and be like, haha, I do shit.
The magic death shroud button, in other words.
Yes, and Soul Reaping, I actually liked all the traits in Soul Reaping. It was very hard for me to pick which ones I wanted. But they basically reduce the cooldowns of your Necromancer defensive capabilities, movement speed buff, increasing the damage of the Life Force specific abilities, things like that. So, Necromancer seems to have the capability of being all three. Like Annette promised, it can deal damage, it can tank, and it can heal.
Indeed. So, then what we're going to do next week, guys, is we're going to go ahead and take a look at the other 4 classes. We'll either draw straws or
Dibs on Ranger.
or we'll call dibs at some point in the future. Meanwhile, everyone will continue hating my chair and Skype chat. I probably...
How long have you had that thing?
Since when I lived with you, I think.
Exactly.
It creaks because it's missing bolts on the underside, and so it tries to buck people off.
My chair's awesome. Y'all.
Well, that too, but mostly because it's trying to tilt to the side.
It's okay, chair. I
There
still
are
love
many
you.
drunken games.
Oh, my chair.
Like wall-mounted toilets.
Kind of like urinals. That's
The
right.
story Jared will have to share with everyone one day.
Indeed. Perhaps another time. Once you guys prove to me that you love me by coming to the live show. We'll record every week on a given night at around 7 p.m. Central Time. You'll also be able to access the show via iTunes or Stitcher. I'd like to thank them for hosting the show. Or you can watch the VOD of a blank screen on YouTube at youtube.com/wowsolia2. Let's see. This would be the part where we'd talk about listener feedback, but, well, we didn't have any feedback.
Good, why do you have to listener feedback?
Well, we didn't have any listener feedback because the pilot show that we attempted to record this past Sunday
Which is hilarious, by the way.
didn't have any audio
And
because
whose fault was that?
I'm explaining that it's my fault. Besides, I already claimed I was bad at audio.
I know, I'd say some elaboration is needed here.
Yeah, so me and my infinite wisdom was like, I'll plug my headset mic into my sound card into the little front crappy thing that sometimes stretches out and decides not to project any sound. And the problem with that is I didn't switch the mic input on XSplit, so we didn't have any audio. So that's
Well done,
fun.
sir. Well done.
Yeah. So yeah, that'll actually wrap up the show for this week. You can reach us in the following ways. You can send listener feedback or just any thoughts, questions, concerns, anything you'd like us to talk about to Ascendants of Ascalon at gmail.com. And if you can't spell Ascendants or Ascalon, it'll be in the description below this video on YouTube, or you can find it on iTunes in the show description. You can contact us on Twitter at @AOA_podcast. Individually, you can get a hold of me at Solietu, or you can get a hold of Jeremy on the Twitter as well.
At JQSay. I'm assuming George was waiting for me to do
I
that.
was.
George, you need to warn me about these things.
And Dave and Mel hate the Twitters, so you can either talk to them through us or through the show email. Like I said, you can listen live every week here on twitch.tv/wowsolia2. Yeah. Any final thoughts for the folks?
The engineer's gonna be awesome. That's all I gotta say.
Honestly, my big thing right now is when I get a chance to get online, I like to mess around a little bit, just do random shit, but I'm most excited for the beta. If I get in.
True story. Side note on that, you can also add me in Guild Wars. I'm usually on every night at some point. Just add Leon Shadow Delver to your friends list, and I will be happy to do stuff. Because I like
Not
doing
friends
stuff
with people.
with people.
Sorry, guys. However, if you're on the Kurdic side and you see Kovos there, fan, I'd be happy to kill you. Also, if you happen to be one of these rangers or elementalists that either A, like to lay traps right next to me, or B, like to cast 3-second spells.
That's me.
And, yes, that's Melissa. It doesn't work. I'm just going to sidestep your traps, and I'm just going to interrupt your cast. Take them to 5.
Alright. So, thank you so much for coming out, guys. We will be back next week to break down the other 4 classes, and I'll tell you about Canvas, because there's no place like home.
Seriously.
No good place, so. Nice Wizard of Oz reference there.
Right?
Are you going to be wearing your shoes, too?
Well, I'll have red flip-flops. That's kind of the same.
It's close to Ruby Slippers.
No, I demand sequence on the shoes.